Okay, folks, we're back with Cody. First of all, Cody, happy birthday. It's pretty fun where everyone was singing to you over there. And thank you for joining us at ReactConf on your birthday.
Well, it's been amazing, so I can't complain.
Cool. And obviously, we have some questions from our audience for you after your talk, and we'll just jump straight into it. What do you think?
Let's go.
Cool. So, first question is, how do you deal with dependencies that aren't following the rules of React?
Well, the easiest way to deal with it is there's a directive you can use that is called use no memo to opt out of the component using that library. There's a couple of known cases like TanStack table, like TanStack React Virtual, and then you can report them because the compiler has a list of known issues with certain libraries that need to be updated, and will opt out of those automatically. And if there's other cases that you are aware of, we can build up that list so that it will automatically be opted out. That said, the kind of issue that we see happen is that something is unexpectedly stale. We thought we would see crashes, but it's just like in the case of React Virtual, it will memoize it a bit too hard, so it doesn't update when it should. And it's because of how the library is built, and that will need to change in order to follow those expectations.
So you use that directive.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And that just leads us to the next question. It's kind of related. If I haven't fixed all my errors and all my lint errors, and will enabling the compiler break my app?
Well, it depends on the nature of the error, right? Because if we define breaking the app, the things we've seen, again, is that things are unexpectedly stale. In our code base, we had a use time ago hook, and it was suddenly stuck. It didn't update increment on the ticker. And these are extremely rare. Like, we used it on so much code, and we had a couple of those cases. It's very unlikely that will happen. The most likely thing that will happen is that the compiler will just skip over it, and the linter will tell you why.
Right.
They have been using so much code as a reference point of different React patterns and when to opt out and what is supported. So at this point, it's very good.
Cool. It's good to hear that they've done a good job. Is it possible to integrate the compiler for PRs only to lint code? Do you have any recommendations?
Yeah, we did that. There's a couple of projects we have that uses Biome, for example.
Okay.
And on those projects, we don't want to force any engineers back to ESLint when they clearly hate it.
Right.
So on those projects, we actually do that. We just have a simple ESLint task that we run on the PR. And if you use the ESLint formatter GHA, you get super nice inline annotations on the PR diff view of errors. So it makes it very easy to look over any issues. So that we've done that.
Okay.
It works pretty well.
Cool. Last question. You ready for this? And then we have two bonus questions.
All right.
Okay. So last question. Is there a way to extract the metrics for what components are using the compiler versus those it was not able to compile?
Yes. Easiest way is to write your own ESLint formatter and then export the data on the all of the components that are not optimized, and then you can compare the two. So that's the easiest way. You can also use the health check to give you a high-level view, but that doesn't tell you which components are skipped over.
Okay.
And I don't know if anyone has done it yet, but you could also just, at the generated code, look at all of your components and hooks that have the React compiler runtime in it or not. Because if the runtime is there and used, on every component, you will see a little call with a number, and the number is the allocated memory it needs for that component. So if you have a component that has 2 use memo, you will see a call C and then the number 2.
Oh, okay.
So you can look at those. And of course, you can also look at it in the DevTools, but yeah, that's not very useful to gather data from. But if the DevTools can do it, you can...
It's possible to just... Okay, awesome. People were wondering if you can just get a list of all the skipped and uncompiled components. So I guess you can if you just dig around for a bit.
We did that early on when it was experimental, and we had quite a lot of components that were skipped over. and use that as a task list of what components we should prioritize looking into.
Yeah.
Since we saw that more often than not, if the compiler was skipping over it, there was other problems in there that needed to be fixed anyway. So it was like an automatic triage for us.
Right.
And then if the compiler optimized something, then we knew that, well, then it's probably not worth our time diving into it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that was all the questions we got from our audience, and thank you so much for all the answers and the insights. Now I have 2 questions for you. Number 1, I already asked you this, so you're not surprised. But the number 1 was your favorite React feature of all times?
All right, it's view transitions.
Oh, yeah?
By far, yeah. I've always wanted something that could survive through DOM elements disappearing, like magic move.
Yeah.
And now we have that, and it's just fast by default. You can't make it slow. And it's been so much fun to play with. It blew my mind when I used it the first time to animate an iframe. If you've ever tried to animate an iframe resizing, it's difficult because on every pixel change, there's resize events and whatnot. It gets very janky very quickly. But with view transitions, it's buttery smooth, regardless of how much stuff is inside of that iframe.
Yeah.
So it's just...
You're not the first person that mentioned view transitions or magic moves specifically, actually, which kind of makes me think maybe we need to build our own React-based keynotes. Maybe someone's side project for later. Okay, last question. What is something about you that doesn't come up in normal conversation?
It's the fact that I absolutely love really bad movies.
Really bad movies.
I can't get enough of them. They have to be... we're not talking about Transformers bad. That's just painful. But things like the classics like Trolls 2, Birdemic, and those kind of really, really bad movies. Because it's just something so delightful when something is just exceptionally poorly made. Like you can tell that they tried really hard, but they just can't act. They can't shoot. They can't record audio properly, right? And it's just so entertaining.
Have you ever watched Sharknado?
Yes,
okay.
Of course.
That's the first thing I thought of. Awesome. I'll ask you for some recommendations after this. And again, thank you for taking the time. Happy birthday. I hope you enjoy the rest of the conference and lunch, I guess. And thank you for joining us today.
It's been great.
Thanks.
Thank you.